So I was actually intending to play the Elden Ring Night Rain beta or network test right now. However, that didn't pan out at all. I didn't really feel like sticking around for that. So instead of talking about that, because I'm going to try again tomorrow, I wanted to talk about the new X series from Horde 42. I was initially intrigued to get one of those myself, even though it's a bit pricey. But yeah, let's just talk about the thing itself, right? On paper, the thing is really cool because it's modular, right? You can take things out and put other things in. So if you are more of the WASD type, the keyboard type of person, you can use those types of keycaps. If you are someone who prefers the hitbox style layout, you can go with that. You have options to remove the bottom part and put in analog sticks, for example. On the right side, you can also do some modifications. The top part is also a lot more streamlined with the OLED screen in the center and like things around it. So like in terms of that, they thought things quite well through. It's well put together overall. However, considering that it is modular, right? And that's like the key point for me. It is modular, so you can put things around as you see fit. The first thing that springs to mind is, why don't I have now the option to go between either 4 fingers on the left side or 3 buttons at the bottom? You don't. The only thing you have is 3 at the top, well 4 if you take the up one, and 3 at the bottom. So the layout that you see in, for example, the S16 is not available. Then the next question, again, modularity being the keyword here, right? Because the option should have been there. You have the option to put analogs down there, right? Instead of your up button and these other two. Why can't I have an option where I have all of them? Like, wouldn't that be the best case scenario? Like, I either want the analog sticks or I don't, but I wouldn't really want to remove other buttons, really, at least not in my head. The next thing that springs to mind is the price. The whole point of the Horde 42 and Cosmo X and whatever other names they go by is their price, right? It's like how much value you're getting out of these extremely low prices. On AliExpress, the last price I've seen was $170 for the X series. So that's one thing. Overall, it's just a weird value proposition to me, considering the price, the limitations in terms of what options you have available to you. And I'm not exactly sure who this is for, because quite honestly, at 200 euros approximately, like I said, the last one I've seen was 170, but it's 200 on average from what I've seen over the past couple of days. And the normal price, well, AliExpress normal prices, I think they're kind of fake anyway, right? Because everything is always on offer. But like the normal price is set to be about 300. If that's the normal price, I would just get a Hitbox Ultra at this point because it is 300 euros, right? So, or $300, whatever it is. It's almost parity anyway. I'm not sure who this is really targeting, but again, for me, it's not an option simply because, like I said, I was interested at first, but when I realized I couldn't have a button for my pinky finger on the left side, that's where I drew the line already. It's like, it's not for me. Like this thing has become way too important to me because using my left thumb, I don't like using that for anything ever, which is not to say that this is right or wrong, or this is the way I should do things, or you should do things. What I'm saying is like the Horde 42 offerings have added the addition of having a pinky button. So when you now come out with a modular option, I find it very strange that that one isn't being accommodated for. Yeah, I'm not going to spend the money on something where I know from the get-go it's not what I want, since the one thing I want isn't actually there. On the positive note, given the modularity, you also have the options to go with either a rimless design or the ones with the washers. That's just an aesthetic thing in my opinion, right? Just whichever one you prefer. I prefer having washers. In terms of aesthetics, I do prefer it without, obviously, but I also prefer not having like stuff getting stuck under it, right? Be it either dust or your cat's hair. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but right here is a hair stuck, right? So I have to open it up again to clean it again. So that's with the washers. Without them, it actually got very, very annoying. But that's something you do have the option with if you buy the X series. The modules do allow you to change between either of the two, whichever one you prefer. So that's cool. But again, like there are too many other things from the value proposition missing to make it worthwhile for me, so I'm not interested in it. However, if you are not looking for a controller with a pinky button on your left hand, then this might actually be something you're interested in. Like I said, again, at that price point, I do think the Hitbox Ultra is a better option, but maybe you are looking at the aesthetics of the Hold 42 controllers, the Cosmax options. At that point, yeah, sure, right? $170, 170 euros, whichever one it was. Not that big of a deal, I guess. If you already know what you want, right? If you have like a specific layout in mind, then I would not choose this one. This is kind of where I'm saying it's not really worth it. While you're playing, it's unlikely that you will change what you're doing, right? If you have separate controllers for separate games, that might be something that could come into consideration. Just by itself, you usually stick with one layout, right? You're playing, for instance, Street Fighter 6 World Tour, or you're spending a lot of time in the Tekken lounges, or you're doing the whole Granblue Fantasy versus Rising lounge lobby, whatever it's called there, where you do have like 3D environments that you walk around in. Then I guess having the option to quickly swap in or out analog controls against your normal up button and your macro buttons makes sense. There would be some value to it, but again, I don't know. It's not worth the price in my opinion. On PC, absolutely not, because you can just have any other controller in the meantime, right? You can use your keyboard, you can use a DualSense, whatever. Like in Tekken and Street Fighter, you don't even need to do this. You have them like simultaneously. I just use keyboard and mouse for any sort of navigation throughout Tekken and Street Fighter outside of actual fights. On console, this might be a different story, but again, on console, you also need like the Booster 5 or any other type of USB pass-through, right? So the costs keeps going up to make everything work the way it should. I think it's not necessarily worth it. However, if this is something that you're interested in, right? The modularity of it, the options that come with it, ignoring the stuff that is being left by the wayside, then yeah, I don't think it's bad. It's just, I don't think it's worth the price. That's just my take on it. I probably will not get one. I'm more interested in the Hitbox Ultra, to be honest, at this point. Until then, my R16 is, did I say U16 earlier? I meant R16. The R16 has the pinky button. My R16 is definitely going to be my controller going forward until further notice. I think that's all I have to say really. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.